Are we muted?
No.
So I should have asked that before.
Hey, hey, hey! Oh, ho.
Check out the Marcus and Manny show.
I hate you both right now. You guys are ridiculous.
I'm Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, and you are watching the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Remember to like the video and subscribe.
Hello. What
Hey,
is up, guys? We are
yo.
back. The Untitled Manny and Marcus show is back after its 1 day hiatus.
1 day. We're gone forever. It felt like forever.
So how you doing, Marcus?
I'm good. You know, the funniest thing is that one, we're using a new streaming service for those who don't know for this show due to me being on location. But it's looking pretty good, the whole setup and everything. But it was really weird when the intro comes up and it's like you want to tap it for sound. And I did, and I'm just looking at our intro with no sound, and I'm going like, I wonder if they can hear me if I start going, ah, or something.
well, I'm learning here, so there's a good chance things are going to go wrong today.
So
We've
you're
got
the host
Jeremy
today.
Bishop. Yeah, then we got
You're the
Jeremy
host
Bishop
today.
going, hi everyone, Marcus is on location. Yep, he is.
I'm on location, and I will be here for another 4 to 6 weeks. It's like I have a torn strained hamstring or something or some shit that I'm injured in. I'm on location, but I'm getting the hot take of what it's like to be in the South Bay and the rest of the van. And you don't really notice the wrestling fans out here, but you notice all the money. You notice everybody has money but you. You're the help.
He's also said it's totally time for your restaurant reviews.
Oh, shitty reviews? Oh
Yeah, I
man,
think
if
it's time.
you know when that would be a good show to come back? When this fucking pandemic ends, Manny. When it ends. When you can actually sit in a restaurant and dine somewhere. You can't do nothing. This
Oh wait, you
pandemic has
can't
been
do it.
going on forever.
You can't do nothing in America. I can start doing stuff as things start opening up for me. So I
Ah,
sat in a restaurant the other day, last week. I went to the cinema.
ah. Where'd you go see it at the cinema? And I bet you it's going to be Tenet. I already know.
Yeah, it was Tenant.
Hey, you motherfucker. How was it? How was it?
It's actually really good. So if you think about it, it is a Christopher Nolan film, so it is going to be a mind fuck. Um, and if
Mm-hmm.
if you're not 100% paying attention, you will need to watch the film again,
Sounds like
or
a
watch a
Nolan
YouTube,
movie.
yeah, or watch a YouTube video trying to explain what actually was happening.
I always enjoy watching those videos, and I know we're supposed to be talking about wrestling, but bear with us, guys. Okay, bear with us. But I always enjoy watching and hearing random fan theories and going like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That is not what that was intended to be." And then years later, you hear, "Oh, that was what it was intended to be." Uh,
Wes is here, but he is not the champ.
oh, he's so delusional. He's so delusional.
So
I can't believe I lost. I'm not the champ, Manny. Let us down.
so it so as you can see on the ticker down below, Marcus did lose 4-3 in a special commissioners championship pick match, as that only comes in effect if it does end in a draw.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna say it was rigged, Manny. You're rooting against me. It's because of my lackluster promos, all right? I can do better. I can do better, okay? It's just that the times I could do it was in the worst possible time, okay? I can deliver a solid promo. I can do it, okay? I can draw the audience in, unlike some people. Shoot.
Okay, shall we get back into the show?
Yeah, let's get back into the show.
All right, let's kick off with AEW All Out, which happened on Saturday, the 5th of September, 2020. What was your take on AEW All Out?
I wish they would put something back in instead of going all out. They shouldn't have went all out because it almost cost people their lives. And it was a horrendous show. It was horrendous. Like there was, you know, arguably you could argue that this is the worst pay-per-view of the year, but one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen put together, considering the injuries, the botches, my hate in some of the booking decisions, which also goes into it. Like, to me, the best thing about this show is something I'm probably not gonna spend 2 minutes on, and that was Sheeta and Thunder Rosa, who went out there and wrestled like this was WrestleMania, while everybody else went and wrestled like it was CZW and just fought or Botchamania or some shit.
Well, see, that was the problem I had with that match. Do you know when you have a amazing it was a good match in front of you, and then you're not getting the response like you had the people around, you had the people that paid apparently $50 to get in.
It's cheaper to get in than it is to watch it on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
bastards.
You save $10 for risking your life. But like these women nailed it. Like that was the best thing on the card.
Yeah.
And it wasn't given the respect it deserved.
Yeah, it was the best women's match they've ever had. And Thunder Rosa looked like a star. Sheeta elevated her game up, looked like a star. I mean, there were some things in it that was like, that could be better. But it did capture my attention. Like, I was right off the bat.
So, Wes has said, Marcus, you let him beat you. Not since the Lone Ranger has a masked man being this overrated. So, he's obviously talking about El Luchador, the El Champion. However, me and Marcus were talking throughout the pre-ramble.
There's some guy walking around. He's clearly on drugs. He's walking in front of me.
So,
I'm sorry.
Me and Marcus were talking, and we were talking about, as we do on this show, we talk about ratings. And unfortunately, our views are down. And we're putting that to El Luchador being the champion. So he may have created history being the first man to ever retain the DSPN championship. However, he is the worst draw of the DSPN championship.
And this is nothing personal. Drew McIntyre is currently champion. I know we're talking about All Out, but Drew McIntyre is currently champion. But he was considered the worst drawing champion because he had the lowest round of ratings at all time. So, Luchador, you're in that category with Drew McIntyre and Diesel.
The biggest talking point out of the pay-per-view was Matt Hardy and his incredible fall and how the match should have been stopped. What's your take on this?
Well, my only take from this is that this was pure negligence and it was irresponsible, and that the people in charge of whoever's responsible for helping restart the match, I believe it's Tony Khan, and even Matt Hardy can get some blame for this as well, should be ashamed of themselves. This should not have gotten to that. By the way, the lowest viewed champion in DSPN history has entered the room. Hey, Luchador. It was shocking because I didn't watch the pay-per-view live. I had to work. And I heard about Matt Hardy getting injured, and I was like, people assume concussions are going on all the time. I would like to see this for myself before I jump to conclusions, say, because Matt Hardy said he was okay and all that. So when you see it, and he hits instantly, he's out cold. When he's trying to stand, he can't feel his legs. You can clearly see it. This isn't even a sell job. The dude cannot move. And they abruptly just cut away from all this and to stop everything. And then they come back what, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, maybe less than that.
It's less than that. Like, so I believe it was like Matt Hardy was out for about 40, maybe 30 to 40 seconds when Aubrey thrown up the X, and then obviously talking in the earpiece to Tony Khan, and then
Yeah.
Tony. So the ruling it was that the word is going on that Tony Khan called an end to it. He was like, end the match.
Which was the right thing to do. Just end it.
And then I think the trainer or their medical team went and checked in on Matt Hardy, and then they cleared Matt Hardy. And this is in the space of maybe 2 minutes. Yeah. And like, if you're going by NFL protocols, you're done. You're pretty much done. If they even suspect you have a concussion, you're done for the game. And then concussion protocol takes over.
Yeah, and this one was a blatant, like, it's one of those things when you see it with your own eyes that you don't need a doctor to tell me this dude ain't right. Right now, like, you can see it in his eyes and the way he's stammering, and even the way he was talking about Sammy Guevara, I'm coming to fight you. He was like slurring his words a little bit, even when doing that. Like, it was not something like the right decision was to stop it, and Tony Khan made that. But the restart, what I think that really happened, and this is only speculation, but this was what the original call, is that the announcer said Matt Hardy said he's okay and he's willing to continue. And then later in the show, they're constantly correcting. Said Matt Hardy didn't say he was cleared by a doctor. I think the first response was what really happened. Is that Matt Hardy's been doing this a while. I'm going to take his word for it that he's going to be okay. And I think that you cannot listen to a person that is concussed because clearly they don't know how to behave. I don't know what the term is I'm looking for, but they don't know how to do it. I haven't slept, guys. I'm tired. You can't listen to me.
So they actually continued on with this match, and I think everyone was pretty shocked when this happened. And then they went straight to the finish, and you can clearly see Sammy Guevara dragging him up to the point where they're going to drop him. Yeah, I felt like they should have just done some stupid twist of fate spot or something, and then just had Sammy Guevara go out, because like dragging him up there was probably the most painful thing to watch of that thing, because he dropped. They could have put 3 tables out originally to break the fall. They only had 2. That was an accident. Accidents happen. Accidents happen, but like realistically, they should have stopped the match. They shouldn't have let this continue. And they did, and now they're facing the repercussions.
Yeah. And I don't believe, I mean, there's a few people going like, he says he's okay and whatever. No, the backlash is pretty damning that a lot of people are very critical of what happened here, because if restarting the match just for that finish made no sense. Like, it's pro wrestling. I know they say it was a stipulation that Matt Hardy's career may be on the line. So what? Right around it. Like, just say he's Damascus or some shit. And Matt Hardy can fight. Put a mask on him. Make him Captain America or some shit. It didn't have to come back into the match. And even if it did go wrong, and Matt Hardy said, he'll never wrestle with AEW again, wrestling fans, and of course the diehard AEW fans, the loyalists, will forgive them if they would have spared Matt Hardy to not go back out there. He got injured. We'll do the match at a later date because it makes no sense. It made no sense to do that. The falling off for the Sammy Guevara spot. To me, it was stupid. That was the worst thing on the show. Just that.
Well, there was other dangerous spots, but like I feel like they recovered in it. So there was I can't remember his name other than calling him Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne. Matt Sydal, that's his name. He climbed the top rope, went for the shooting star press, slipped on the top rope, and then crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Which
like, it was bad. It was bad looking.
That was bad luck, and they blamed it on the humidity in the ring, and I was just like, really, guys?
It happened. Like for me, that happened. That's a mistake. I'm not blaming anybody at AEW saying you shouldn't have my side down doing a shooting star press because that's what he does. That's
Run
what he
Smurf has
does.
asked, did you take the Disman's gimmick?
Yes, I took his car and his gimmick. All right, I had to.
So there was another spot in there that which troubled me a bit. Being in the dark is scary enough if you can't see where you're going.
Yes.
Being put in a body bag, which Brian Cage did to Darby Allin.
Yep.
Zipped it up and then eliminated him by throwing him out of the ring. Not the most safest spot in my view, because you don't know where you're going to land. You don't know how you're going to fall, because gravity has taken all control of that, and you have no control where you're going or seeing where you're going.
Yeah.
I feel like wrestler safety is not in the highest of mind or on the pad for AEW.
They're too obsessed with these spots and what gets the buzz on the internet, and it's turning into CZW, in which they're just doing shit, and it's just not necessary. This isn't me seeing Darby Allin legit get him injured or Matt Hardy legit get injured. It's not putting my ass in the seat. It makes me not want to see it. It becomes garbage wrestling.
Yeah.
I want to see my wrestlers, my favorite wrestlers, or just wrestlers in general, put on the show, but I don't want to see anybody actually legitly get hurt. Like, just because you do a spot and, you fall into some thumbtacks and stuff, that doesn't make me go, oh, man, I can't wait to see that guy. What are they going to do next? This is going to be escalation because you got to increase the spot. And, you can say, like, oh, man, you going sub. You grew up in the Attitude Era. The people in the Attitude Era realized what they were doing was fucking crazy and wrong.
Yeah.
Like Undertaker, I believe on Last Raw, it was like, or somewhere said, it could have been on a podcast or something, said he shocked nobody died in the Attitude Era because of the way they were doing spots. Whether it's Mick Foley or, I don't know, Steve Blackman, somewhere on the lower card, because everybody was taking open chair shots and doing stuff. But you learn so much about safety and what the human body and brain can take, the damage it can take, and it's not worth that spot. Like, I'm not going to remember the Darby Allin body bag thumbtack spot. It's not going to come to my mind. It's something that it's not worth it. Stuff that is more memorable to me, like Shawn Michaels literally in the ring with the boyhood dream. That's not really a spot. Brock Lesnar recently getting a Claymore from Drew McIntyre in a Rumble match and the crowd going crazy. Or Edge in that Rumble match. Or, little stuff like that. A lot of these hardcore spots I don't really care about. Like, I enjoyed the TLC match, but it was because I was invested in those characters. They didn't have to do all those dangerous spots. I think if they would have had the match and just kept it logical like they were doing for some of it, and I believe they took more safety precautions, like they would have extra tables or padding in places and stuff. It's not the spots, it's about the feeling of the story. And I think that's what AEW is missing in some of their matches, is that they think it's all about the spots, but for me, it's all about the story you tell in the ring.
Yeah, and we'll get onto it when we get over to Raw. We'll go over how injury should be handled, whereas where it wasn't handled well on AEW. But so other talking points were the FTR. FTR are now the new AEW Tag Team Champions in what felt like a very long match. All these matches went really long, and then after the Matt Hardy incident, it almost like the energy of the whole place kind of been sucked out.
It was like he died.
Yeah, and then the match was good. It sold kind of the story. They told a very good story, I should say. And then the end when you got Kenny and Adam in the middle of the ring after they've lost and FTR have left the ring. Kenny's now blaming Adam Page for everything. So he's gone for a hug, it looks like. Kenny stepped out of the way. Paige just drops to the ground, and then this is where Kenny's like fighting off the frustration of trying to beat him up, like he's done with the little man previously,
Yeah.
Marco stunt, and then
No,
Kenny
just refer to him as the little man from now on. That's what you're gonna.
yeah, and so you see Kenny start to walk towards the back, frustrated, walking towards his car, walks past the Bucks, complaining about it being all Adam Page's fault and everything, which it seemed like it was more Kenny's fault, in my view, during this match.
Hold on, Manny. A good heel is delusional. They
Yeah, no.
blame
This is the good thing. And then
Yeah.
Kenny's now going in the car. He's telling the Bucks to come with him. The Bucks go no. And then Kenny's gone yelling at his driver. Kenny's gone, and then the Bucks are very confused. So it makes it it kind of gives you a reason to come back to Dynamite, despite all the bullshit that's happened previously in the night. This is giving you a reason.
Go ahead.
Go on.
No,
I've spoken enough.
No, continue, Manny. I love the way you sound. Oh, the thing to me, and why I will rate this pay-per-view so low, and I don't know if it's the worst of the year. I don't know. We still got, a few more months. This is 2020. Anything could get worse. What I would love for this pay-per-view to be, it could have been better if they just cut shit out. It didn't need to be 5 hours. The day to be, and I'm shocked when I say this, considering they're cutting people off Twitch or whatever the hell's going on with that.
Oh, so they've changed their ruling. They've changed their ruling on that.
Let me make this point and we'll get back to that. Hold on.
Yeah.
They made the ruling of making their pay-per-view shorter recently. And, their pay-per-views are now shorter than Monday Night Raw, which is a blessing in disguise. Sometimes it's just too much in this era. And this AEW show, if they could have benefited and actually had a solid show, even with the mishandling of Matt Hardy, they could have still had a solid show where if they did, that tag match, the main event, Sheeta and Thunder Rosa, and do some comedy bullshit or the Battle Royal, whatever. But just have 4 or 5 matches on the card that went at a reasonable length. And cut out the Dark Order, the Bucks, or whoever. You didn't actually have to go all out because the pay-per-view was called All Out. With that being said, what is the update on Twitch, man?
So I'm not sure about Cameo, but they're allowed to continue with Twitch, and I'm presuming TikTok, provided they don't use their WWE name.
Okay.
So
Solana lives.
So AJ Styles will now probably be on there as Alan Jones or something along those lines.
Phenomenal Alan Jones.
Yeah, something along those lines. You'll start seeing people pop up with their actual names all over the place. So let's to jump over a few things quickly as we get through this AEW report. Big Swole defeated Britt Baker, which was an interesting match. I wouldn't even call it a match.
It was a bad cinematic match, but you know what? I was entertained at some parts, but I thought it was a little long, maybe. I think that's what it was. I feel like when they went outside, I thought that was the end, but then they went back inside.
If you ever get a chance to, if you ever get a chance to rewatch that, pay close attention to Reba. Reba is screaming all over the place, sounding like Rita from the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
She comes out from the trash. I love when she gets thrown into the trash and still managed to hand Britt Baker a crutch from the trash.
For some reason, it made me laugh every single time Britt Baker would say, Reba, come on. And I don't know where Reba will be at, but he's nowhere near Britt Baker. Reba, quit throwing the trash.
And then Reba comes out of the trash with a banana skin on her head. I'm like, do you know what? This served its purpose, but I don't feel like this should have opened the card.
No, it should have been in the middle of the show, like a buffer between stuff. But with that said, the main event, Dictator John versus MJF wrestled for the AEW title in a match that I thought was actually pretty solid. They worked a pretty good match. It wasn't the tradition. they had to fight outside the ring. It's a Moxie match, and the referee neglected a lot of the rules. But it was a solid match. But I thought the ending was stupid that he still won with a Paradise Shift, and I thought the ending was stupid that he still won. MJF had all this momentum, and I would have liked to see him as champion. Mox has had his time. For me, it's not. I'm tired of seeing him go from one guy to the next guy. It's always MJF always seems like he's an afterthought, considering Lance Archer was waiting for him in the crowd.
Yeah, so I didn't actually watch this match. I fell asleep, and I personally was just like, I'm not going to go back and revisit this. It wasn't worth the time. So my question to you is: AEW All Out the worst show of 2020?
To me, so far, I mean, the only show I could think of that was really horrible was Extreme Rules Horror Show. Was pretty bad, but it was some aspects of it that was unique. I mean, we got to the next part of the storylines, like Braun lost his hair, Alexa's now evil, and stuff like that. Ray lost an eye and then lost another eye or something. Like, it was a solid match. Like, to me, this was the worst show of the year due to people getting hurt, the botches, how long it was, having people in the crowd bundled up together without masks and giving each other COVID, and reports talking about how AEW didn't really give a shit. Moxley's got that guy almost getting to Moxley, and security let him through. And I think it was the worst pay-per-view of the year, and by far the worst AEW pay-per-view they've ever put out. Ever.
Okay, so my opinion on this is this show was $60. It may have been 20 pounds here, I think, if you were to get it off Fight TV. It's not worth that. What I watched was definitely not worth that. Like, yeah, I say the worst pay-per-view of the year was the Saudi show. But you got to bear in mind with that show, realistically, there was probably another pay-per-view in February when it happened, or March. I can't remember if it was either February or March.
I don't know. It's been the longest year of my life.
Yes, and so
you said it's a Saudi show.
In theory,
Saudi this year.
In theory, there was two pay-per-views. There was two pay-per-views that month for WWE. So in theory, if you paid for your network subscription, it was $10. You essentially got both for $5. You got both shows for $5 each. And if you're viewing this show as like you somehow got hold of it for free and didn't pay for it, your opinion doesn't matter.
Man,
you have to pay. You have to pay for the thing for it to be like for it to go. Yeah, I was justified paying that.
Well, the problem with wrestling fans, they don't pay for shit anyway.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
The first thing I see when I go online on a pay-per-view day, who got the link? Who got the link?
Yeah,
that's come on, man. You really support the product? If you're really about that AEW life or that WWE life or that Impact Wrestling life, don't be looking for the link.
Oh, and I did this man a disservice.
And pay it.
I did this man a disservice. Yes, Wes. I did this man a disservice. You can't talk about the Saudi show without mentioning the GOAT, Mansoor.
Mansoor, who's won, I think, like 5 matches in a row on 205 Live. And I was like, what's going on? I think it's because they didn't do a Saudi show. They had to use them.
Okay, so where'd you go from here with AEW? Well, how'd you bounce back?
Well, it all starts with Dynamite, obviously. But, I wouldn't move so far with Lance Hoyt and just look over MJF, who's going to, declare he was cheated due to him still using the Paradigm Shift. I don't know what they're doing with the Dark Order. I don't know why they lost that match. Like, if Brody comes up, he kills Cody. He kills Cody and Brandy. They kill him. They're dead. They're killed off. And yet, the next week or so, they lose to a ragtag bunch of losers who lost to Cody Rhodes. Like, every single one of them have lost. with Sheeta being champion, I would somehow figure out a way to sign Thunder Rosa to make her the real champion. Since we
Yeah.
only have 2 women wrestlers anyway. If Britt Baker's healthy, you try to feature her, I guess, on TV. I don't know. You continue the Hangman Page Omega breakup and the Elite and all that, but you could leave the Young Bucks out of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's only leading to FTR versus the Young Bucks for the belts. That's all we're going, and I'm assuming that's at the next big pay-per-view. I forget what it's called, but the next pay-per-view will be Young Bucks probably versus the Revival or the Revolution. I don't even know what they call themselves anymore. Those fucking guys.
Those guys.
Those
Those
fucking
fucking
guys.
guys.
Yeah, those fucking guys. But so yeah, I just think that they need to find a way to bounce back and find. Like, I don't think Matt Hardy coming out to the ring next week talking about I had a concussion or whatever he's planning on doing next week is the most reasonable thing. I think he needs to go away. Just like Jericho needs to go away. I don't know what they can do with Orange Cassidy next. I'm not pushing Orange Cassidy in anybody's main event.
Yeah, I think
We didn't
there
even
was
talk
an
about
interview.
the Monster match.
Yeah, I don't want to.
How are your people getting even that a pass? That was dog shit. That was the kettle match with the dogs on the outside of the ring and the
Yeah.
Pujami prison match had a better concept and idea than that match. At least those
Well-
things look like something. This looks like they
Well,
were falling into. Go ahead.
The only thing I can think of a positive coming out of this will be you're gonna get a miniature Jericho that attaches to a glass that you can put in a drink at some point. 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, I can see that. I can really see that. I mean, I can expect Jericho mimosa shirts and stuff. I just don't know what was the idea and thinking of let's do this. And them in the entire match, I don't know. You watched this match, right, Manny?
Yeah.
Them trying to sell me on look at this setup. Are you trying to tell me an underground pool, above ground pool, so covered in Tang or it could be wasted orange juice? I have no fucking clue what they actually use as their liquid, but that was an impressive setup. It was like that's it. You have burned out all your ideas, Jericho. This is the end. This is you jumping the shark. It was horrible. It was a horrible idea from bad creative. That they had a
So
pinfall in the first 2 minutes. They was like, oh, we're gonna do a pin. Like, wait, what? What's this wrong?
So I think we've got a new listener, Paper Tyler. Have you heard of him before?
Maybe. No. I'm gonna say yes.
Anyway,
of course.
this is
I'm
the
not a
first time
Paper
I've
Tyler,
seen you.
Manny.
This is the first time I've seen Paper Tyler. Welcome to the Lumber Chat.
Yes. Where the rules make all the sense in the world, unlike a mimosa match. Goddamn. Goddamn. I would have like if they were to do a cinematic match, it should have been this way. They should have fought in a factory that's similar to where, like the Joker was dumped into a vat of acid. If they had a match like that and I could watch somebody fall from a high place into a vat of mimosa, I would have been happy. That would have been more entertaining. But this 2 little pools did not impress me.
I kind of wanted to see. I wanted to see Jericho just go down like Terminator when he said goodbye.
No, I know why you cry. Oh, so dramatic.
Check out Jericho's Instagram where he shows his design or his idea of this mimosa match, which I find really stupid. It was like a 5-year-old designing how they want their bedroom to look like.
It's so stupid. Them trying to sell. This is one of the most unique matches I've ever seen. No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Watching people wobble over a little pool, going like, whoa, it's so stupid.
So, have you got anything else to add? Have you got anything to add to AEW All Out?
No,
other than
fuck that show,
our view.
man.
Our
Fuck
view
that
is 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. And I'm gonna remind myself when I need to take a shit in the bathroom. I'm gonna remind myself of this pay-per-view so it comes out. All out.
All right, let's move on to last night's Monday Night Raw.
Ooh, red text.
Yeah. I did some work on this.
Wait a minute. Don't say I did work on this and say the red text is the work. Everything
No,
around this
no,
is
no,
work. The red
no.
text is the work. You changed
The
a
hardest-
font color?
The hardest thing for me to get done correctly was the placement of where it says the 8th of September, that box where it says the sharpshooters with all the icons, and then the bottom bit down here. That was the most difficult part of getting this set because
Yes.
it was trial and error to go work out if it was placed correctly.
Yes. Manny, I appreciate all that. But you said I put in work, quote unquote, after eyes pointed out, oh, red text. That was not the easiest thing to do. What color should I go with? Let's try red. Ooh, how do I do that? Change font color. That seems to be the easiest part of the job. I'm just saying.
So Raw opened up with Randy Orton, coming out to chat his gibberish, his and
his rhetoric,
which inevitably led to somehow Drew McIntyre. I believe he stole this ambulance.
Or he bought it. He's the champ. Manny, he's the champ. He could probably rent an ambulance. I believe WWE rent in full kayfabe. They rent ambulances all the time for this show. I'm sure Drew McIntyre has the money to rent an ambulance. He's the champ.
So I'm pretty sure he stole his ambulance and then essentially just gave Randy Orton the Claymore.
Yeah, but Manny, well, I can't give Randy Orton the pass. I mean, Drew McIntyre the pass of this. If I'm angry, I don't have time to think about I want to make an elaborate entrance with a fucking ambulance. Have it black. Turn the speakers on the ambulance so everybody in this arena, the Thunderdome, can hear.
Oh, and
Make
Marcus, before you mock the red text, look at the screen at what Jeremy just said, and Manny did spell check before he posted.
Oh!
Boom!
Well played. Bravo, you got me. You got me. That was
well done,
played.
Jeremy.
I like
well
that.
done, Jeremy. So let's carry on in this thread. So this later led on to a Keith Lee versus Randy Orton rematch, which was it was quite similar to their payback match.
Mm-hmm.
Although Randy Orton landing the RKO on Keith Lee.
He beat him.
No, he didn't.
Keith Lee was not getting kicked out of that. He looked flat on his ass.
And then I believe for the second time, Drew McIntyre has given Keith Lee a DQ.
Cost him money. Cost him from going to the pain with him. It's a damn shame. That man can't eat tonight. Again.
So that was the second Claymore of the night. And at this point, it was like Scrap Daddy was on at the top of the ramp. Like, why are you still here?
Excuse me, Manny. I'm no longer calling him the Scrap Daddy. That is Postman Pierce.
Postman Pierce.
Postman Pierce. I would love him to come out of retirement and just wrestle as a jobber named Postman Pierce.
Well, I like that he's no longer just a Scrap Daddy. Like they're giving him more of a on-screen presence now.
Yeah, he shows up and he's actually the authority figure. He's making the matches. Him and what's the guy that suspended Nia Jax are actual people now.
Oh, Pat Buck.
Yes.
But the interesting thing, the funniest thing for me was the third Claymore, which happened in the back.
Yes.
In Raw Overground. Because it was not the underground set.
No, it was not outside the underground. It was back above it. You didn't have to go downstairs. My favorite thing about the Randy on his way out of that looked like he was having the worst night and still got kicked again.
So no, my favorite part about that was, so we always joke how when Randy Orton does a run-in, he's always in his ring gear. He stays ready. He's leaving with his shorts on, his knee pads still on, his boots, and just a black shirt, which makes me believe, which adds to the whole thing of like, yeah, Randy does run-ins, just he's always ready. He stays ready.
He stays ready. How do you feel about? Because to me, it bugs me. This bugged me. Drew McIntyre died on Raw last week. I mean, he had a fractured skull or whatever that was
Yeah.
retracted to having a hairline fracture in his jaw, which is basically almost like a jaw rewiring. He seemed fine. He was talking. He was lying to Postman Pierce the entire night. Talking about, I keep forgetting my phone. He should not have been as healthy as he looked. He did not sell anything.
So the funniest thing for me about this segment, other than Randy being always ready, was pay close attention to Chuck. Go back and rewatch this. Pay close attention to Chuck. She's running up and down the scene on the side.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. I was
I
watching
noticed it because it was like it panned to the side, and then it was like, oh, Chuck's trying to hide. Oh wait, now she's been caught on camera. Now she's trying to get away from the camera. I was like, why don't you just go behind the cameraman?
Oh, Chuck. The one true host of First Take couldn't get off the camera. Just trying to get off the shot. But besides the egregious Drew McIntyre not selling any type of jaw rewiring injury of some kind or fractured skull and looking fine and healthy, because they had the best question for the class championship. The thing that stood out to me the most, and this may be random, but it was in the Street Profits Angel Garza Selena Vega fiasco thing, in which Angel Garza, one, got a new jumpsuit, finally. Two, they're finally in the full breakup mode, that they have separate interests. And the fact that Cesaro and Nakamura is a part of some random invitational, whatever, I forgot what the original rule was, the hot shot rule or whatever it was called before. But they're allowed to show up. And we're one step closer from merging these titles, which I think they need to do.
Do you think they're going to do it?
That? I think they're going to do it.
I would like it.
I think we're going to clash as the champions and get a one true champion that will appear on all three shows, similar to the way the women do it. I think they've realized that is an amazing concept, that we can have any wrestler become tag team champion and they can be on any given show at any time. And I think they fell in love with that concept when the women started doing it with the golden role models. Because now Drew McIntyre or Roman could be on any show now.
Can we just point out it's breakup season? For some reason, it's breakup season. Everyone is breaking up.
It's the summertime, baby. I don't know what people... Most people break up in the winter so you don't have to give them a gift for Christmas or something. But they're breaking up in summertime.
So
go ahead.
That obviously leads into Cedric being out of the broke business and into the hurt business. How do you feel about that?
Oh, he's a Tatanka. He's a Tatanka, Manny. He didn't have to sell out. I mean, it was the point of him, his reasoning for selling out. I was tired of getting my ass kicked by these guys. So I'm just going to join them, make money, and never get my ass kicked again. Valid reasons.
Yeah.
But also being threatened by Shelton Benjamin, I'm on to you. And if you get online, I'll fuck you up. And I'm like, oh. I thought Shelton was going to get jumped in the VIP lounge. He jumped out the game.
Well, I found it funny when they were walking into the arena, someone made reference to Shelton's mama.
Can I also bring up, the Hurt Business shirt that they wear?
Yeah.
It is not a Hurt Business shirt. It is a Bobby Lashley shirt.
Oh, really?
At the bottom, it just says it says Bobby Lashley. So it's three different men now wearing Bobby Lashley's shirt. Because he was the Hurt Business, apparently. And now that it's the 3-man or 4-man team, they need to update that shirt just like they need to update the United States title in the graphic. Which is really, really.
Yeah, which I don't understand why they haven't updated that yet.
Someone's really attached to that belt in the graphic department. I really worked my ass off on this one. But I'm glad they finally wrapped this up. It was taking too long. It was to the point where I was thinking Cedric, Ricochet would turn or something, or somebody else. But Cedric finally did it. I was hoping that he thought he did it, and he ruins his friendship, and then maybe a disgruntled Mustafa Ali attacks him in the VIP lounge, and he's actually now in the Hurt Business. But they barely hate Mustafa. He can't get shit. Retribution was on the show. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so that was the Retribution occurred during 2 handicap matches for no reason. Like there was no reason for this.
No, we were praising Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler so well that they had to do a segment that made no sense with these 2 handicap matches.
And let's just say it. Who do you think they are?
Well, Mia Yim was one. Dijakovic seems like the leader because he got the most words. That was him. He was the one talking.
So the one on the left either looked like Mojo or The Miz.
I would say it was Mojo. Like I didn't get Miz vibes. I'm gonna say Mojo, Dijakovic, and if it's all these people, this team is doomed to fail. As soon as Mojo Raleigh enters that team, they are doomed. Mia Yim entered that team, they are doomed. And I like Mia Yim. She's solid in the ring. She's another natty. in which she could be in your mid card, your women's division. Maybe you know what? Even have championship aspirations. Whatever. I'm just saying, they don't do it for me if this is the crew. They need a strong leader. I mean, these guys are just. I don't know why y'all want Retribution, even though they have a new logo that flashes on the screen now. They've hired a graphics designer.
Kind of looks like if you go up to the top where I've done the sharpshooters. Kind of looks like that. So I did it first.
I mean, they're getting that Raw money because they're Raw exclusive now, just like the Underground. And I just don't know where it's going anymore. Like, I don't know what's the point. Like, they should have come up with their demands already. This has been going on too long and them doing the same thing every week.
Yeah, and eventually someone has to unmask them. It's taking too long to get to the final bit.
Yeah, just unmask one. Just unmask one. And I know I let my window down to let some air in here so I don't suffocate my car. But just unmask one. Give me some entry. Give me a sample of what to expect, because I'm getting nothing out of them. Even this week, I believe this was their demands. I don't even know what they were talking about. I can't remember a single thing.
So I'm gonna leave the Mysterio bit to the end because that was probably the funniest thing I've ever witnessed. So we got one of the saddest things I've ever seen. The Iconics are no more. We learned that last week.
They changed their music.
They changed their music. I thought one of them at least would have kept the music to be like Roman Reigns of the women's division.
Yeah,
clearly not.
Yeah, she can see I'm iconic. Clearly they're not going my storyline of keeping Billie Kay in the Underground.
Well, you don't know that yet.
She's dead. They killed Billie Kay this week, Manny, and you know it. You know it. You know what happened. As soon as the reports of Vince having an eye for Peyton, and then they have this match, and it looks like the death of Billie Kay. That's what I got from this. Like, even though
Jeremy Bishop, it does hurt. Jeremy, the breakup of the Iconics hurts.
Yeah, that was my most painful thing. I loved them as a team, and that they had this match, and then Peyton felt sorry for Billie at the end and hugged her, which means Peyton is, I think, a face, and I just thought this was the saddest damn thing I've seen all week.
And then, so the epic brawl in Raw Underground between Kevin Owens and
an hour.
and Aleister Black, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But then I made reference to it last week. I hadn't seen this man in a while. Big man Dabba-Kato. He's made his triumphant return, destroying both Kevin Owens and Aleister Black.
Now, Manny, can I dive in and ask you a question about this 40-minute fight they had in front of all these people? Do you feel it's wasted for Dabba-Kato to come in there and just annihilate both men? Did it make Dabba-Kato look stronger, or I feel like it? Did it make Kevin Owens and Aleister Black just look weak?
It doesn't make them look too weak because they had brawled for what felt like 45 minutes. So like if you're beating up people that are tired, it doesn't really matter that much. But I feel like I want to get to the end of the Aleister and KO story before I start an impressive program with someone that I think is going to be not a big star, but a star for WWE.
No. I'm going to always remember this is the day Manny declared that Dabba-Kato is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be Dabba-Kato and The Rock.
Do you know who I want him to be?
Do
you know who I want him to be? I just need him to be Umaga for me. And I'd even take Shane being his Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Now, with this Underground and Kevin Owens and Aleister Black, was this the best edition of the Underground?
Yes, clearly. Yeah. Except for our fantasy booking last week of the Raw Underground with Billy Kay running riot.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, realistically, this probably was the best segment of the Underground, but nothing was settled in it, and I felt like that's my number one complaint with the Underground right now, is that it starts off good at a point, but it never gives you like the satisfaction of completion. Like It just feels like it's an ongoing thing that never actually ends correctly. Like when Titus was dominating last week and he looked like Titus fucking nailed the man, and then it ends with kind of Riddick Moss knocking him out, or this week when Dabba-Kato kills Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. It's just the ending is never satisfying. It always ends with, that's what I'm Underground for this week. Come back next week and see what we're going to do. And I'm like, that's not satisfying. And hearing Shane say that, it's not a satisfying ending. I got no resolution out of this. And I think that's the problem with the Underground right now. I got no resolution. You get none.
So, Paper Tyler said they need the dancers back, but Jeremy has asked, when is that huge security guard?
Music from All Out. They're still using the music from All Out. Which I was like,
no, All Out was using the music. All Out was using the music from Raw Underground.
How could they start this show with that shit? That's not so why it's considered one of the worst. They started with Raw Underground theme music. Like, oh, this is trash. What are you saying about the big security guard, Manny?
So Jeremy Bishop said, when is that huge security guard going to wreck someone? I don't know.
I'm waiting for the day. I think somebody's going to get out of line or something, and they're going to try to get into the Underground, and they're going to get past the security guard with some shenanigans, and then he go in there and he wrecks this shit. But I don't know what he can do in the ring. I don't even know if that dude could stay healthy.
He's 7 feet tall. I'm not expecting him to dive.
You know what? And I didn't realize we were going to spend this much time about the Underground, but you know what? It captured my imagination. I believe Eric is going to be in the Underground a lot more due to what happened to Ivar in that 8-man tag.
Well, I hope so, because I hope they don't. I hope they don't like do what they did with AOP, and like
and the Usos.
If one gets injured, they take him off. Yeah, if one gets injured, they take him off. They take the whole team off completely. So I hope Eric spends time in the Underground.
Yeah, and the Ivar thing, I saw it, and you see him going up the X's like a million times in agonizing pain, but I don't see what actually happened to it. It looked like a clean dive. Everybody looked like they caught him. It had to be something that was pre-existing, and it just got worse in that moment. Like, I don't know what happened.
I think this is time for us to really just work out this. Like, big guys shouldn't fly. They just shouldn't.
Fight like a big man.
Because you fall. They fall harder.
Yeah. It was really hard to say. Maybe he pulled a hip, but it was immediate in which his his reaction was, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. And they immediately went to the finish, and this is a proper way to cancel the match. And, you know, maybe there was a miscommunication, and Ricochet botched the pin and kicked out on 2 or whatever. But I'd rather have Ivar get the medical attention he needs to stop the match right away, and do what you got to do to protect people in this situation.
See, this is where Michael Cole doesn't get the credit he's due, because he essentially is Vince's puppet on commentary. But he sold the fact that Ricochet kicked out at 2 and it wasn't really a 3 count. To the point it's like, oh, this could build onto a further story. Like, yeah, you didn't beat us last week, blah blah blah. You somehow paid the ref off or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, it's a good reason to have a rematch.
Yeah, so you can rewrite this shit going forward, which is what AEW should have done. Like, they could have just ended it there and go, okay, someone's got really hurt. We value the health of our wrestlers, and we'll resolve this later. Like,
yeah. To me, the whole AEW Matt Hardy account, they seemed heartless and just had to get. They're more interested in the spots or pleasing the fans or whatever the case. Whatever motivated to do was the absolute wrong decision. And I'm not saying what Vince McMahon and WWE, they always make the right decision, because they once wrestled matches after a guy died in the ring. They are not saints when it comes to this. But, you know, this could have been handled better. It could have been handled similar to the Ivar scenario, or even the Kairi Sane and Charlotte and the ladder or whatever the hell they were doing, and she got hurt. Like, there are ways to do this, and the wrestler's health should be a priority from not only the wrestler, the promoter, but the doctor they hire to protect the wrestlers from themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that was ridiculous. And I was happy to see that Ivar got there. I wonder what the update's going to be for his injury. Hopefully it's nothing extremely major, and they figure out it, because the tag teams are fading away. WWE has never cared about tag teams, but they are currently all disappearing.
So, Luchador has asked, is Sammy Guevara unsafe? If you ask Bret Hart, he is. Or if you ask Bret Hart, it's probably Seth Rollins' fault.
Well, on this incident, I don't know whose fault it is to blame. Like, the chair incident, I blamed AEW for that one, for having at least 2 or 3 gimmick chairs so he don't grab the rugwood. That's somebody in production's fault, in which he had to do this. He's doing the spot. It wouldn't matter, both expecting the spot, but the chair isn't there for whatever reason. And then this one, it could be his or Matt Hardy's fault, but you can't control somebody's head from hitting the concrete. There was no way he was saving Matt. They had a plan for the spot. It was a stupid spot for them to do, that they didn't think about any of the precautions or what could have happened. You know, they could have. There were different solutions, and then, you know, in hindsight, I bet you Sammy Guevara is going like, yeah, we probably should have did this, or Matt Hardy like, we probably should have did this, but none of that happened. It was a mistake, you know, but it wasn't the biggest mistake was continuing the match. That was the big mistake. So I'm not going to call Sammy Guevara unsafe for that spot, because you don't know who's 100% to blame for it.
So to close out the Monday Night Raw report, the funniest bit that's ever happened, a family jumped. An actual family jumped Murphy.
Yeah. And here's the thing about this jumping. It was unjust. This jumping was for Seth. This should have been Seth getting jumped out. Why is Buddy Murphy getting this? He took Alistair's eye. He never hurt the Mysterios. I mean, he beat him with a cane and all that, but that's business, baby. He shouldn't have got this beaten. He shouldn't have got beaten by Rey Mysterio's wife, aka Dominic's mama. He should have got beaten by Rey Mysterio's little sister or older sister. I don't know the ages. I'm saying younger.
Aaliyah, I think Dominic's 23 3, and if I did my research correctly, Aaliyah is 19.
That girl's gonna be the next women's champion. She's a real star. No, I feel like saying that. But she came in there hitting them with kendo sticks. I mean, I did not expect Raw to end this way. I didn't even know what the main event. If you told me Buddy Murphy was main event in Raw, I was like, who you wrestling? Dominic Mysterio. That's main event Monday Night Raw this week. Well then. And so
yeah, if you carefully look at the image in the corner, you can see.
Man, that is the weirdest ending I've seen to a Monday Night Raw in a long time. Of them just beating up Buddy Murphy. And it seemed like that was the end of the feud. The Mysterios have gotten their revenge, but they never got Seth. Although Ray was talking about, you see Seth? I'm whooping his ass. But Seth disowned Murphy. And like an abandoned son or someone that lost their lover, Murphy was out there alone. Manny, where do they go from here after this?
Survivor Series. I want this to be Survivor Series match.
I need Becky to come back and get into the ass of Aaliyah and Ray's mama. I need Seth to call the man.
Okay. No, it was asked by Wes. Here we go. Sammy Guevara versus Nia Jax. Who's dying first?
Oh, Sammy would die first. Because I believe Nia Jax can actually hurt Sammy. I don't feel like Sammy is much of a man. Just saying. He's very small.
And Jeremy, where he said Ray's wife or Dominic's mom looked like she was ready to burst into tears at any moment. She did, but she also looked like she was ready to throw hands whenever was needed.
Yeah, she didn't look like she would. She didn't seem like she was about that life until Ray handled that kill statement. Baby, get yours in. It's illegal. We can fuck him up. He calls him by eye. You know you love that line. You know you all love my left eye more than my right eye. You fucked him up. And they did it. And it was a family moment. And I don't know how you end. Like, I never want to see the Mysterios again.
I do. I want them to be. I want them to get bigger and bigger. I want them to turn into the NWO.
So, with that being said, they did have a match around this. What did you think of Dominic in this one? I thought he looked good. I thought the cross body looked really good.
Dominic always seems to look good. It's just that I feel like he's getting pushed too quickly, and because he's a Mysterio, and I feel like there's going to be a point where it's going to be like we're going to get to a point where we start thinking of him like we do Charlotte. Well, I don't think of Charlotte the way she does. Some of you in the Lumber Chat do not like Charlotte.
Shout out to the Queen. Wish you well. Come back soon. Because they hate her so much. I love the Charlotte haters because she gonna win all the time. You can't stop her. But I would like to see the Mysterios go after the tag team titles.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dominic still needs seasoning, even though he did that SummerSlam powerbomb to Murphy into the table, which looked really good.
Clean. That looked
clean. Really good. It was really nice. I was like, oh, that's Rey Mysterio's son, yo. I had to go yell at the people in the middle of this hotel, talk about, y'all see that's Rey Mysterio's son. Just really excited. Like he was my own. Like I raised that boy from Eddie Guerrero to like that was a really good spot. And I think Murphy probably gets all the credit for the flip or whatever, but it was a really good spot. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind either them going to tag team or seeing, Dominic go through the undercard of Raw, which isn't much. It's just, fighting a few people and having solid matches with some guys by himself. Cares where it goes. Maybe going even after the U.S. title at one point. I mean, he get killed by Bobby, but, that's what happens.
Oh, he would get murdered by Bobby.
Like, I feel that would be the next storyline, right? I would actually go with the Hurt Business against Rey Mysterio. The Mysterios.
Yeah, I don't know where you go from this. Because, it's clearly like they're not over this Seth thing.
Where the fuck was Seth this week? Like,
Nursing
Buddy was
wounds.
out there on his own. Yeah, it was like, he would come. It's like, no disciple of mine. You're no child of mine. You get your ass beat on Raw by the Mysterios tonight. But the Mysterios enjoyed that way too much. It has to be a family moment for them. Like, this is great. And I believe Buddy Murphy should be invited to the next Mysterio Thanksgiving for all the work he's put in with Dominic and everybody in that family.
And I think that's the end of the show, guys.
Oh, I have one last question. Do
What's
you
that
see
question?
Aaliyah Mysterio ever getting into the business? Do you think that's,
I feel like
that's Ray's next project?
I think she could get forced into it, but I don't think she wants. She doesn't seem like the type that would be that physical. She has a look of Evilise to her, but I don't see her actually jumping into the business.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the Mysterio's drive is. Is she going to get the same treatment of Dominic? All right, it's time to go in there. We're going to all go as a family. But Dominic needs to work on his promos. He needs to learn from his other daddy, Eddie Guerrero, how to do promos, and not from his actual daddy, Rey Mysterio. Seth at home building the crib and shit. He is probably.
He's getting ice cream and pickles for the man.
Get the man some ice cream and pickles and give me my damn sandwich. Honestly, if Seth wasn't involved in this serious Messiah gimmick, I wouldn't mind seeing vignettes of the man being pregnant and her bossing Seth around. To me, it would be funny. And just went like, shut up, get my damn sandwich, and just him being a house husband. Almost in Maria and what's that fool name? Mike Bennett.
So I've got a few comments here. Dominic's push has given him a mortal enemy, a lifetime nemesis, one Humberto Carrillo. That actually sounds like it would be a really good match, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then
It would be
Jeremy.
Promos.
Jeremy has a question for you.
Yes.
So he asks, do you think Ryan is throwing kid and playhouse parties with you being out of town?
Nah, I think they're orgies.
That's even worse.
I don't think it's kid and play style house party. I mean, maybe a pajama jam, but I don't think it's gonna actually. Yeah, I just think they're just disgusting orgies. Yeah, I think more Matrix Reloaded, the rave sequence than anything else.
Right, so that's the end of the show,
I'm gonna hate to go
guys.
home to see that.
That's the end of the show, guys. Marcus needs to get some sleep.
We talk about I'm in prime position, man. Nah, I'm going to sleep. Fuck this.
Yeah. I hope you liked the new layout of the show. My hosting is not great. I know that.
It's all right, man. Hosting is just a thing, man. They're here to see us talk and laugh and have a good time. You don't actually have to be a good host.
So remember, of course, to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to be alerted every time we go live. And if you can, help support the show by visiting our website, our store merch site, I suppose, of www.storefrontier.com/DSPN. Marcus, you still there? I don't know what's just happened.
Hey, hey, hey! Oh,
Check out the Marcus and Manny show. I hate you both right now. You guys are ridiculous.
I'm Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, and you are watching the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Remember to like the video and subscribe.